Greetings, everyone. Today I have with me Shakira Dobie Romar, who is an NSU senior at Norfolk State University. Her major is sociology. Now, let's get into it. Where were you born?
Petersburg, Virginia.
Did you grow up at this location?
No, I did not.
So, where did you grow up?
In Virginia Beach, Virginia.
How was that for you?
It was fun because I lived by the beach.
Do you have any siblings, or are you an only child?
There are 7 of us that live in my mother's household, and I'm the oldest of 7. And there are 5 girls and 2 boys. So no, I'm not an only child.
So, as an older sibling, how does that work out for you? Are you stressed? Are you a big helper? How's that for you?
Well, I did have more responsibilities being that I was the oldest, and I did have to help my mom out while I was at home, but being that I live in a dorm room, my helping is kind of limited now.
Oh, you said you live in a dorm room. So how's the dorm situation going for you? Is this your first year living? How many years have you been living in the dorm?
Well, this is my 2nd year living in the dorm, and I lived in the dorm my freshman year, and now I live in the dorm, and I'm a senior. And I love it. My roommate is awesome, and I love my suite mates.
So what colleges did you go to? Did you attend any colleges before coming to NSU?
Nope, just this one, and I started 2 weeks after I graduated from high school.
So your major is sociology. So what made you get into this major?
Well, I wanted my major to be criminal justice, but I was informed once I got here that they didn't have criminal justice as an undergrad major. So the closest thing to it was studying society, and then I have a concentration in criminal justice.
So when you say you have a concentration in criminal justice, what exactly does that mean?
It means that my classes are focused around criminal justice classes like Intro to Corrections or Introduction to Criminology, things of that nature.
Are you in any organizations in this college?
No, I am not.
Okay. What role did your parents play in your education?
My mom was very serious about me getting my education, and she was very what was she motivated us and pushed us to be the best that we could so that I could do my best while in college.
So since you're a big sister, how do your siblings look up to you? Do they see you as someone who's a role model to them?
Yes, in their own different way. Being that I have a brother that's right underneath me, he's tried to be the opposite of me just so that he can kind of get his own attention in his own way. But my little sisters and every other child looks up to me, and they ask me about college all the time and my experiences, and they always want to come up here and see my roommate, and they ask me about my grades and how I'm doing and things of that nature, and they can't wait to start school on their own and be successful.
Would you suggest any of your siblings to attend Norfolk State University?
Because I did not get to choose Norfolk State for myself and my mother chose it, I suggest for them to choose whatever school that they feel that they want to go to. But I do have one sibling that does wish to attend Norfolk State once she graduates, but she's only 12, so I'm pretty sure she has time to change her mind.
When you graduate Norfolk State University, where do you see yourself going with your major or with your degree?
Well, I'm definitely going to get my master's, and I'm actually looking to go to Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I would like to get my master's in criminal justice, so I don't want to just stop at my bachelor's degree. I want to continue my education.
Okay, great. So, what would you tell your siblings that wanted to pursue a career in sociology? Would you tell them it's hard, or how would you explain that to them?
I would tell them that they definitely have to be interested in what's going on in society, being that that's what we study. And I would tell them that it is very difficult. You do have to write a lot of papers, a lot of research papers. You do have to take a lot of exams, but I would motivate them and tell them that they can do it if they really want to. But if it's something that they're kind of questioning and they might want to do something else, I would tell them to wait and hold off and see how you maybe take a sociology class and maybe take a math class or something, and then see which one you like better.
Do you have a particular class that is your favorite out of all of the sociology courses that you've taken thus far?
Well, I have two of them. Introduction to Corrections was my favorite because I planned to be a warden of a prison, and it was very interesting reading the textbooks and seeing the articles and reviewing certain things in the classroom with my professor. And my other class is Senior Project, and that's because it's my last class of my major, and I'm taking it this semester, and I'm very excited because that is like the seal that I'm graduating. I'm getting out of here.
What would you say are the pros and cons of sociology?
A pro to sociology is that the information that we study on the society, we can kind of use it to develop new laws and things of that nature that will best benefit the greater good. And then a con to sociology is because we sometimes just look at the bigger picture, sometimes we forget to focus in on the individual, or if this situation only pertains to this group of people, because some of the psychological factors that they might have.
How does sociology play a huge part in today's society?
Well, the study of society can kind of help us not repeat history. If we did something like slavery, 9 times out of 10, society won't go back to that kind of norm.
All right. Are there any sociologists that you look up to that you've been studying so far?
I would have to say just W.E.B. Du Bois, being that he's like the father of sociology, and I think it's kind of cool that he helped develop the main ideas and things of that nature. But another sociologist would probably be Dr. Perkins, which is the department head for the sociology department, because he studies like urban areas and what's going on in urban cities and how it affects African Americans, and his findings seem to be very interesting.
Has this always been your choice of major, or did you change majors? Did you come here knowing that this is what you wanted to study?
Well, no. Once again, I wanted to be a criminal justice major. But after being in the department and speaking to everyone and really getting a feel of what sociology was about, I was very excited that I could do something like that and study something beyond what I thought and still incorporate it with what I wanted to do originally by having a concentration in criminal justice.
When is your expected graduation date?
May 2016.
And you say you wanted to go to Atlanta?
Yes.
That's great. So do you already have living arrangements there, or are you just going on faith?
No, I'm definitely not just going on faith. I do have living arrangements. My aunt lives there, and she has a lovely home, and I will be able to stay with her so that I can get myself together and kind of get to know the area and be acclimated to, the city, because Virginia Beach is not like Atlanta at all. And being that I'll be living at her house, and her house is kind of like 30 minutes away from the school, I'll need to know my way there, so I have time to get that situated. So I don't plan on going to graduate school or starting school until January 2017.
Wow, that's great. Have you ever visited the school? How many times have you visited the school per se?
I've only visited the school once, and that was the last summer. And I was there for 3 weeks, and I got to meet the dean of admissions, and I got to meet, no, I said that wrong. I got to meet the dean of the college and graduate admissions office, and I got to get a waiver for my application, so therefore I don't have to pay the $45, so I'm excited about that. And I also got to meet with some of the people that are in the program, and I got to see how they like the city and is it safe, because that's a very big concern for me, being that I'm not from Atlanta.
Great. Take me back to that very moment where you arrived at Clark Atlanta and you were looking around and you said to yourself, this is it. This is a school that I want to go to for graduate school.
Well, it was kind of a gradual thing, but I was immediately intrigued by how it looked and how it was kept up. And I love that Spelman and Morehouse have a connecting area where all of the campuses meet. And I think that is really cool. And then you can kind of read the history on both of them. And I also love the fact that Clark Atlanta used to be two different schools, two separate colleges, and they came together to make one university.
What is the campus life like? Do they have a CAF like they do at NSU? How's that?
Well, they do have a very big cafeteria, which is actually being remodeled, and I thought that was cool. And they're also putting in more food places, which gives the students more options. And then as far as like the campus life, everyone around just kind of seems to be chilling outside and underneath a tree or in the courtyard, kind of how we do here. And I did think it was cool that their library is shared by all three schools. So Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark Atlanta all have the same library, and it is very grand inside.
Awesome. So what does your mother think about you moving away after graduate school?
Well, because she got to pick Norfolk State for me, she does not have a say in me moving away. And she feels, of course she feels sad about it because I'm the oldest and I'm going to be leaving the nest officially, but she would be okay.
Awesome. So what would you leave to your siblings? You going away, how would you motivate them to let them know that even though you're away, you're still their big sister?
Well, because I live at my aunt's house, my aunt said that they can all come visit me whenever they want to. So I would definitely remind them of that. And being that I've drove there before, I will definitely tell them if they need me, I will be back in Virginia. It only takes 8 hours to get here.
Awesome. So talking to you, it seems like you're doing great for yourself. You have a lot of goals. Who is your most admired person that inspired your life decisions?
I would have to say there are two of them, my mother and my aunt, her sister. My mother has always been a free spirit, kind of do whatever she wants to do kind of person. And she made a lot of decisions that affected her children when we were younger. And that kind of motivated me to not do some of the things that she's done. And then my aunt, she's kind of been more of a structured person. And she's kind of always had it together, and I saw her going to school and things of that nature, and I see that an education is very important. So they both have good and bad qualities, and both of them put together, blended, equals the person that I most admire.
That's awesome. You can take away one thing and one thing only that they've given you that you're going to keep for the rest of your life. What would it be?
The saying that knowledge is power.
Awesome. When you say knowledge is power, what do you get from that? What does it mean to you?
I believe that as long as you're continuously learning and you're continuously being involved with the world, then you will be just fine. But if you isolate yourself and you think that after high school, then I don't need to know anything else, then you're going to have a lot of issues in your world.
Absolutely. So this interview has been great thus far. Do you have any final thoughts that you can say to anyone who's inspiring to study sociology? What would you say to them? How would you encourage them to, push forward and do their best, even though this may be a challenging major?
I would definitely tell them, if you're aspiring to have sociology as a major, you should definitely call around to the school that you're interested in and speak to the people in the department, because that's kind of what made me be more interested in it and gave me the insight that I needed to make the final decision that this is what I wanted to do.
Awesome. This has been a great interview. I thank you so much for your time, Shakira, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely.